Hey everybody. A while ago I posted a picture of a setup I did to the Facebook group and everybody really seemed to like it, so I thought I would do a video just sort of talking about the setup and also just giving a kind of a tour of my gaming space, my game room. So this is my game room here. I obviously DM from this end of the table. I have all my terrain up on these shelves here. As you can see, there's lots of game tiles and caverns and such. Most of my city builder set is obviously in this setup, so it's not there. But I DM from this part of the table. I've got the 5th edition D&D DM screen. I don't really like the tables of that screen as it's printed, so I've put my own tables on the inside of that. But I DM from this end of the table. This is a 4x6 table that I've set up to depict the capital quarter in the city of Kenberos in my homebrew setting of Duthara, which my PCs were in last session. So what we actually have at the hither end of the table is the sort of commercial area of the capital quarter. Then obviously there's a river bifurcating the city, and on the far side is an island that has the estate of the Lord Mayor. The PCs sort of entered up this main street here following this cart and would sort of end up at this wharf and sort of have to cross over eventually. But just to sort of give you an outline of what's going on in sort of this side of the table, there's a market square down here. There's an inn here called the Scarlet Chevron. Next to it is another inn of sort of different class called the Noble's Rest. Next to that is the house of Baldasaros, a sort of wealthy merchant in this particular area. And then there's a sort of block that abuts the river and sort of has nice views. There's, at the end here is a shop called Curios Elegantri, which is sort of a tailor and a clothier and an armory shop actually. Next to that, occupying sort of 3 sections of City Builder, is Pimril's Pawn and Pledge, which is a sort of a relics and a weapons shop where the PCs could go. Next to that is the Customs House, which is where ships and boats coming up river would have to check in with their cargo. And you can sort of see that depicted here, the cargo sort of stacked next to the wharf. Here is a guardhouse, a gatehouse, and a barracks for the soldiers in this quarter. This is sort of 3 levels of City Builder tall. And if I sort of reverse the angle on that, you can see that while that's made of City Builder set, I've taken the game tiles and made a sort of wall that divides that particular district from the river. And then there's a road that actually crosses the river. The river, a lot of people were asking me how I made the river. It's my own invention. Other people may have thought of it, but as far as I know, I'm the only one to actually sort of claim it, because I didn't get the idea from anywhere else. This is a diffuser for a ceiling fluorescent light in what's called cracked ice format. It has a kind of nice sheen to it. And what I did is I drew a grid on the bottom side of it and then painted the bottom side of it blue. So you get the 1-inch grid. But what's nice about it, if you look sort of really closely, the grid looks like it's several feet deep in the water, which is a really sort of nice effect. And of course you get the nice play of light across the uneven surface as well. And what I've depicted here is a dragon ship has come up and docked at the wharf. A dragon ship, I believe, is the Viking ship from Old Glory. So if I go to the other side of the table, I've got the Lord Mayor's estate here. And if I sort of flip the angle, you can see there's a sort of little compound at this end. The Lord Mayor's house would be the 2-floor City Builder, and then what I've actually done is have a sort of a stone addition to that. That's actually the old Dwarven Forge resin, although it has City Builder roofs on it. I just like those kind of alabaster windows, so I built that out of the old resin. And then there would be a sort of a guardhouse or cottage there to meet people coming across the road there across the river. This would be the Lord Mayor's Hall, and he of course has a really nice compound or a sort of courtyard coming in off that wharf, where people would come in past those flaming braziers between those two statues and enter that courtyard. And he would have a nice little fountain area with small trees, a sort of raised portico that he could look down river, and a nice sort of glade or a garden here with high trees, and there were sort of standing stones and a bonfire between them. That was the setting of a sort of poetic ritual that I had the PCs witness. And if I come around here and take the roof off the hall here, this roof is a 10 by 10 stone roof from Jan Solo. And if I take that off, by the way, I like it that I have the old Dwarven Forge high doors there. It's not exactly plausible, but it does look pretty cool. But anyway, if I take the roof off here, you can see that this was the setting of the sort of nice little banquet in honor of the PCs being held by the Lord Mayor. You can see his sort of wooden throne there at the end, and there's a nice sort of dinner being placed in front of the fireplace there. It's a spread in honor of the PCs, with a sort of roast deer being offered here. This is all J.A. Hecker that produced that. So this was the setting of a kind of very nice evening that the PCs had, a nice kind of social situation as opposed to any kind of a combat encounter. I'm just going to put the roof back on that. So this was a pretty impressive setup, at least for pretty ambitious in terms of what I'm capable of mounting. If I come around here and reverse the angle on this, you can see this had a lot of potential as a setup. One of the things I like best about my game room, in terms of where I DM from, is if I'm sitting down here, and I can do a kind of interesting effect if it happens to be sort of nightfall that the PCs are witnessing, which is I can dim the lights and make it almost completely dark. So go to about there, and really the light from behind the DM screen is hidden from the players, and so they get to enjoy the city at nightfall. And you can see the torches and the torch walls in some parts of the city, and of course a torch on the ship as well, and the courtyard. It makes for some pretty good atmosphere, some pretty good ambiance for the players. And if I come back to the DM station, I can turn down the lights completely and turn up the lights completely. Anyway, this was a pretty successful setup, a pretty successful session. And as I say, a lot of people seem to like my photos of it, so I thought I did a video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Happy gaming.